Testing, 1, 2, 3. Good morning. Just want to go ahead and doing a bit of a sound check here.
More like afternoons.
Well, yes, afternoon, which is why the thumbnail does say Sunday afternoon coffee talk, because pay close attention to specifics. It's actually more or less because people will call me out on it if I leave it up as Sunday morning, so this kind of mitigates that just a little. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Good morning. Yep. Sounds like I can hear myself. Good morning, dog lover. How are you? Happy Sunday. Hope you had a fantastic New Year's. I know we did a little bit of talking. I believe it was New Year's Eve. Late New Year's Eve. That's what it was. Late New Year's Eve, and sounded like you were having a good time. So, glad that you did enjoy your New Year's celebration. Good morning, Paul. Good afternoon, Paul. How are you? Good afternoon. It's okay. I keep thinking it's morning as well. Still very low key around the house. We've all been kind of staying up late and partying for the past 2-3 days. So I might sound a little low key. Pockets is still about 6-7 feet behind me, and Shiloh is still in bed. So good morning, Frank. Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, let me explain that. Thank you for bringing that up, Paul. And I have gone into my Facebook settings and have since changed it. January 1st is not actually my birthday. My correct birthday is actually on my YouTube channel, and it's on my Twitter account, but my Facebook is older than both of those. And I was back then very concerned that people were digging around to try and figure out who I am. So I didn't want to have matching birthdays for my real self and then my persona, because it would just make it that much easier for somebody to go ahead and possibly figure out who I was. So I put my birth date on Facebook as January 1st, 1980, which is just January in the first, so I don't have to scroll all the way down. And 1980 is just, it's the beginning of the 80s, which is actually a year before I was born. My real birthday is March 28th, 1981. And I did go ahead and put that up on Facebook, so it is correct, so that this doesn't happen every year. I always forget that. Every year, I have a great New Year's Eve, I party all night long, have my bottle of champagne, wake up the next morning to, 30-some-odd notifications of people wishing me a happy birthday on Facebook. And I have to go reach out. I'm like, nah, it's not actually my birthday. So, but it is the thought that counts. So I appreciate it very much. Good morning, Mr. Edge. How are you? No problem, man. I still feel like I'm in bed. So, no points deducted there, man. I completely get that. I hope everybody had a great New Year's. I know I had a fantastic New Year's. We ended up throwing a little New Year's thing in VR chat, in VR. Somber ended up showing up, and a couple other people that we met online while we were in VR. And Shiloh was there. She was on Pockets' headset. Sorry, I had a bit of a brain death there for a minute. But it was good. It was fun. We spent probably about a good 4 hours. Went to a couple of different clubs. Listened to music, talked, had a lot of fun, a lot of laughs. And when I was all done, I took off my headset and I was home. 11:30. No driving. Didn't have to go out anywhere. Wasn't unsafe. So that is a huge benefit to me as far as VR goes. Able to go out and do stuff in just a much safer capacity. Especially New Year's Eve. It's not so much me doing something stupid, like drinking and driving or whatever. I've never done that, and I never would. But it's everybody else. You get a lot of people on the roads that don't drink all the time, and they don't party all the time. And then it's that one night a year where everybody cuts loose, and you have a lot of idiots on the road. It's a very, very dangerous night to be out and about. I'm glad that you had a good Christmas and New Year's this year. Ours was really good too. I actually had 2 weeks off of work. I mean, last week was I did work 3 days, but I got to work those 3 days from home. And granted, those 3 days were spent putting out fires and filling in crater holes from the week that I was missing the week before. So it was a bit stressful 3 days working from home. But it was only 3 days, and I was able to stay home. It was nice. It was like still kind of like being on vacation a little bit. But then right back into an actual 4-day vacation. I'm actually lucky enough that my company is observing tomorrow as New Year's. They actually did the same last week. That's why it was a 3-day week. Christmas was actually observed on a Monday because it fell on a Saturday. So I have tomorrow off of work as well, which is very good for me. I will need it. This is my day to kind of like recuperate a little bit. I'm going to help my wife do a little bit of cleaning so she's not overwhelmed. I don't want to end up doing that to her. Pockets is amazing. And tomorrow it's, start getting back on the ball. Editing some videos, doing some writing, some sketch art for the upcoming Locust Lake book, which, man, I am so pumped for. And, kind of like a half step back into it. And then Tuesday, it is back to work. So. A lot of people have free taxis. They do it here, too. Free rides are very much available. But not everybody takes advantage of those things. There are still a lot of people that refuse to leave their car behind or refuse to do, and they don't do things smart. New Year's Eve is a very, very dangerous day to be out on the road. I appreciate it, Somber. Good morning. How are you? Not sure if you had a chance to listen to last night's video, Confronting Evil, Season 1, Episode 4, but you did fantastic. Everybody really thought that it came out well, everybody that was there. So just wanted to let you know that, man. Excellent work. We are actually nearing the halfway point to the series, or at least the first season. It will be a 10-episode season, and the next episode is episode 5. So we will be halfway through season 1, and you will get that episode of Confronting Evil at the end of this month. This is a 5-Saturday month, so Confronting Evil will be back on January 29th. I know a lot of people, I'm sure, still have to see it, Dog Lover. But, yesterday was a holiday. A lot of people were eating ham, spending time with family, watching, traditional, movies that they watch on New Year's and stuff like that. So I completely understand that. That's if you're able to, it'll be available. It'll be up, I promise. But yeah, it did come out really, really good. So, Yup, drink at home or at a friend's house and stay the night. That's the smart way to be, Frank. It really is. You gotta plan ahead like that and make the correct moves for yourself. Do your future self a favor. That's how I always see it. Like, if I'm going to help somebody out, let's help out future me. So, I know future me really appreciates it. Well, I'm glad you did get a chance to check it out, Somber. But yeah, again, if you hadn't at this point, I want to let you know. But apparently you did. So that's good. And as you can see, you did a fantastic job. Sure that you saw in the live chat as well. Everybody else thought so as well. So, me too, Frank. I was all over that. So, yeah, drinking and driving, not good on New Year's Eve. And even driving while sober on New Year's Eve is, I don't recommend it. I don't go anywhere. Just like Black Friday, I try and stay home if I possibly can. But speaking of that Locust Lake book that I'm so excited about, it is coming along very, very nicely. I did go ahead and put a post, tweet, whatever on social media that I'd finally finished up the manuscript, which the manuscript right now is about 108,900 some odd words, so it's almost 110,000 words. I still have to add the preface, the acknowledgments from both me and Doughboy, table of contents, some other, additional content in there. But the manuscript is basically done. Next part is sketch art. Just like Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, those books, which I loved those books. And one of my favorite things about those books was the sketch art. You open up the book, you go to the story, like the one with the girl and the spider that lays the eggs in her face, and it's got like the picture of this girl with like, her cheek exploding and all the little spiders crawling out of it, and that's the cover page for that story in the book. It's just the little stuff like that was always like some of my favorite things about those books, was the sketch art on the front of each story. So I wanted to make sure and go ahead and do that. I've been doing a little bit of that with Dreamscape. The Halloween book that just came out in October does have sketch art for every story. A lot of those I use free to use, royalty free, use in any capacity you want images. And then I render them through a sketch filter and put them into the book kind of like that. I might augment them a little bit and stuff, but it's typically not stuff that's drawn myself because I don't think of myself as an artist. I don't think of myself as somebody that's really good at drawing. But this book, all the sketch art will be done by myself or possibly even my co-writer Doughboy. I did tell him I was making the sketch art, so that way he was able to go ahead and produce some sketch art if he wanted. But I am just about done with the main storyline. I got 2 more stories to draw for, and then I've got to draw the cover art for the 8 journal entries inside of Todd's journal. And then the book will be basically done. So I'm hoping that within a week I will have the manuscript, sketch art, and all completely done. And then hopefully within the following week I will have the book completely uploaded and my author proof to me in the mail. And the book is going to be an absolute freaking monster, which makes me very, very happy. So, but yeah, that's where we're at with the Locust Lake book. I've been kind of pushing myself pretty hard to get it done. But the past 3 days, I've done nothing. I've done no work on the Locust Lake book at all. I just kind of took a couple of days off because it's been since the beginning of November that I started working on the manuscript. So yes, the scarecrow Harold. His name was Harold, and that's right. That's the thing. And the scarecrow dog lover in I believe it was the 3rd one. It might have been the 1st one. I can't remember which book it was. I guess it could possibly be part 2. One of them, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, volume 1, 2, or 3. One of them was called Harold. One of the stories was called Harold, and underneath the title for Harold was a picture of this scarecrow in a field with its face all ragged and its nose bulbous and like not center. Like, it was kind of a terrifying image for sketch art, and I know exactly what somber means. It's something that's kind of stuck with me too, and that's what I mean about the sketch art in the books. I miss that. I loved that feeling that, I don't know, I guess I can't really even describe it. I just really liked having that sketch art in the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, and I just thought it would be a really great idea to do in this book. And it started with the Dreamscape book, because the Dreamscape book was supposed to be like an homage, 4th dimensional, or homage to the Necronomicon. So you wouldn't just find stories inside, you would find pictures and whatnot inside as well. And I wanted to make sure that we put some sketch art into that book for that specific purpose. And it came out so well that I wanted to do it for the Halloween book that came out this past October. So that's why there was sketch art in that book. But again, that wasn't hand drawn. That was done by compiling free-to-use images, running them through filters and whatnot. The Locust Lake book has by far more sketch art in it than either of those two books. It might have more than those two books combined, and it is all drawn by me. I drew it all. So I'm very proud of that. But yeah, it's going to be jam-packed full of not just great stories to read, but really cool things to look at. The journal section, Todd Jacobs' journal, will be a section in the book itself. And that book, Todd's journal, just that section, Todd's journal, is as large as my second book. So it is literally a book within a book. The front and back of that section will look like a composition notebook, obviously. It'll say, Journal of Locust Lake, property of Todd Jacobs. Inside's going to have all kinds of sketch art drawn by me, maps, pictures of the actual lake, actual Locust Lake, and it'll have 8 journal entries. And out of those 8 journal entries are going to be 3 exclusives that you'll never hear narrated, and they fully tie in the Cult of Locusts backstory with the rest of the storyline in some really cool and unique ways. And all of the journal entries, the font. And again, I know it's not, wow, I changed the font. It's not that huge of a deal, but I kind of thought that this was a nice touch. I used a handwriting font for the journal entries. So it's, normal, textualized, very professional looking font for the rest of the book. But when you get to the journal entries, and it's like nice handwriting, it's very legible, but it looks like handwriting for the journal entries. So the journal will actually feel very much like a journal, and then you move on to the rest of the book. And where it's set just kind of, I feel like it ties in everything very nicely. So I love both bacon and coffee. Thank you for reminding me. I should probably have some. I don't think that I'm an artist. And again, I've been yelled at by my friends and my wife. It's because I compare myself to other people. And, they look at what they do. So but it's the truth. Like, I'm friends with a lot of people that do artwork. They do draw, they paint, they do these really amazing things. And if you set what I'm doing in front of what they're doing, mine looks like doodles. It's just doodles. It's just sketching. And could I learn to draw better? Is my stuff passable? Yeah, some of it I'm actually really proud of. I drew a picture of Shiloh, older Shiloh, standing at Locust Lake. That came out really well. I did a picture of a mine shaft, inside of a mine shaft for the Redcoat story. That came out really well, I think. But again, when you put that stuff against, like, the stuff Tamara Valentine's has done for my channel art, it's not comparable. it's ground beef to, like, filet mignon. So could I, if I wanted to invest the time? Maybe the potential might be there for me to be able to do, really good artwork. But with all the drawing and editing and family stuff and work stuff that I do, I don't have the time to kind of put in that kind of an effort. But I do make sure that, and what obviously takes me 3 hours would probably take somebody else, 15 minutes. But I have been working, very hard on the sketch art and trying to make it really look good in the book. And it does. I will say that with all confidence. The sketch art that I have drawn so far does look very, very nice sitting inside the manuscript. I am happy the cover art is completely done. I know those of you in my Discord server have seen the book art, the book cover, have seen the cover art, but I have not shared that anywhere else. I haven't posted it on YouTube. I haven't put it on Twitter. I haven't tweeted the Locust Lake cover. I did say it's coming soon, but I'm kind of waiting to reveal it to the external masses until a little bit closer to the release of the book. But I want to get this book done in my hands, back, and published by the middle of February is my goal. No later than the middle of February is my goal, because I have to start working on the next book by the middle of March. No later than the middle of March. I have to. Because the deadline for that book is the middle of June, because it's the Confronting Evil book. After Confronting Evil Season 1 concludes, there's going to be a Season 1 book that releases. It's going to have all 10 stories from the Confronting Evil season that just ended up finishing, plus a holiday-themed exclusive. And what holiday it is still completely up for grabs. It can be any holiday in any one of these, but that's going to be the theme reoccurring. So you will get one exclusive Confronting Evil story in the book, but there will be a season book release at the end of each season. So, but in order to, that ends in the middle of June. So in order to get that book out by the middle of June, I have to start working on it by the middle of March, which means I have to get this book out by the middle of February. So I can have a month off from working on books. Plus also in March, I have to start writing for the 13 Days of Halloween. And yes, I start working on Halloween in March. March/April is where I start. I force myself to write one story a week for the days of Halloween, all 13 days, minus whatever's given to me or planned to be written with my co-writer. So that way in, I don't know, about June or July, I can start narrating them one a week along with the rest of my narrations and just saving the audio files, putting them aside. So that way by, the middle of August, I'm getting ready. That's, the middle of September. I'm always 3 weeks ahead. So by the middle of September, I'm full force making videos, doing my acting sequences for the 13 Days of Halloween. So I need to have everything done by that point in time. So I chip away at it slowly throughout the year. Yes, I am busy, but it's all very scheduled and planned. So it's never overwhelming. It's like, okay, today, on this specific day, one little day, I have to write 400 words of my next story, and I have to write a tidbit-sized Halloween story. Then when I go home, I'll have one story I'm going to have to final edit for a book, and that'll take me half an hour. So you add all, and then edit, for my video or for my channel. But even when I do video edits, like if it's one of the longer Saturday stories, see, I do the tidbits on Friday. I narrate on Friday, and then when I'm done narrating, I do my acting for the Saturday video that I read the week before. So I do that acting, and then I save all those files and bring them to the tower. I add the acting sequence to the Saturday video that I read the week before. Then when I'm done with that, I make up the 2 tidbits that I just narrated and get those completely done, thumbnails and all, and then that's it. And then following Monday, I start working on the Saturday video that I read, because it's longer, it's more inclusive. So Monday is getting the narration clean, clipping all the files together and getting the narration nice and clean. Tuesday is typically sound effects and adding any voice lines to that narration. Now I should stop there, but recently I've been just getting it all done on Tuesday. But in theory, then Wednesday is adding video and music to it. Thursday I have off, and then Friday, when I do my narrating, I do that acting for it. And rinse and repeat the process every single week. So Friday is basically my busy night, but beyond that, my weekend is completely free, and I just do things every day, scheduled in very small increments. So it doesn't take me a whole lot of time. And it's a lot easier for me to keep up on things. And then again, I'm also with my YouTube channel, I'm 3 weeks ahead. So like, everything is set so far in advance and planned that as long as I can stick with it, even if I take a week off, I should still be fine. So it sounds like a lot of work. I've said this a million times before, not always on stream, but to my family and stuff too. My very first class in college was time management. It is probably the class in college that I still am getting the most use out of is time management. It sounds like a lot of work, but if you can break that into how many weeks you need to get it done, and then how many weeks, how many days that you have, and if you can break down the work to the day, and then just stick to a time budget, it just makes it that much easier. And yes, hello, PA Nightmares, how are you? Good afternoon. Thank you for stopping in. Sorry, I was kind of babbling. I did see you pop in though. Good morning, my friend. How are you? Hope you had a fantastic holiday. I'm sitting over here just kind of babbling about my my process, I guess. As you can see, like I said, it sounds like a lot of work, but how much work it is per day, it isn't a whole lot. Now, what takes up a lot of the time daily is a lot of the extras that I do. Where it's like, all right, well, I'm finished. Now what? You know what? I think I'll I'll make up a new promotional art for Confronting Evil, or I've got a book I need to get done and edited. Like a Locust Lake book with tons of sketch art, and it's 110,000 words that need to be edited and revised. Those extras, and when you add those on top of my daily and weekly regiments, those are what kind of backfill in that time. And then obviously, got to make time for Pockets. We sit and we watch, we watch movies. She's got me into all kinds of really awesome shows on Netflix that I typically wouldn't have gotten into, like The Witcher. Got to give her credit for that one. I also got to spend time with Shiloh. We play a game together every single night. So I just kind of make sure that I do that, and that's in the week. Sundays is typically Family Fun Day Sunday. I do have my weekends free. That's why I narrate and do the bulk of my editing on Friday. So I literally have Saturday and Sunday free. Saturday is kind of like, it's errands, it's VR, video games, and I'm done with errands. It's the premiere on Saturday night, and then typically I'll go to some other premieres and stuff like that as well. But Saturday is typically like my fun day. And then Sunday is kind of a blend of that with my family. So, yeah. Yes, work. If you do get ahead of the game, it will take a lot of the pressure off. Just got to remember to stay ahead of the game. Now, I always wanted to be 2 weeks ahead. 2 weeks ahead is important to me. That's why I'm 3 weeks ahead. Because that way, if something comes up, let's just say, God forbid, I have a family emergency come up, or I'm not able to be home for one reason or another that weekend. Something terrible happened, or something fantastic happened, and I need to take that weekend with no work, no narrating, no nothing. Now, will I still probably get it done later on during that week and just add it to the extras? Sure. I could probably, and I probably would do that to keep that buffer. But it's there specifically so that way if I need to, I can literally walk away for a week and not skip a beat. And then eventually I'll just do 2 weeks of videos in 1 week, and I'll have my 3 week buffer back. So that's why it's critical and organized. Yes, I have the things that I need to get done organized. And if you took a look at my side of the bedroom, how I keep the computer desk before Pockets, my lovely wife cleans up my desk every morning when I get up, before I get up. You would think that I'm not organized at all. But in that way, I think I'm not saying I'm a genius or anything, but in that way, I'm kind of like Einstein. I'm focusing on keeping these things organized, but this right here, my desk is organized mess. I know where it is. I don't have the time to, and I do. And I'm not saying I'm not lazy. And I mean, in some aspects, sure, I'm lazy. Some people are lazy in many aspects. That's probably one, and it's because I'm not lazy in many other aspects. So I think it's just my brain screaming at me to take a break and chill the hell out. I could be wrong. That's cool, PA. Hour-long recordings they're not easy. I actually got a nice chunky one coming up soon myself. Not, including last night's, which was 42 minutes long. By the way, Confronting Evil, freaking awesome. I love that series. And I'm just like the rest of you. Like, even though I know I've read part 5 already, because I needed to, because I wrote part 6, and I know what happens, I still need to hear part 5. I can't wait for it to come out. I can't wait to release it. So, very, very, very soon. Dog Lover says hello to Pockets. With this morning's stream, honestly, not a whole lot, ISB. I've just been babbling. I've been babbling about my book. I've been babbling about my channel and, video creation and stuff. But it's also been brought to my attention, too, that no one said it directly to me, but it's also been brought to my attention that a lot of people that do live streams, like horror narrators that do horror content, apparently people, like, during the live streams want to hear about the horror content, would like me to, or people like me to talk about horror and not jump on and start talking about, what I'm wearing today, which, by the way, is my Locust Lake hoodie and my Locust Lake hat. No, I know that. I know Blood and Beans is open forum. But again, I wanted to explain. Why I'm babbling on and on about books and stories and stuff. Because honestly, I've been working on the Locust Lake book nonstop for about 2 months. So that is what I have to talk about. B, I am trying to at least keep today's stream at least a little bit more horror-centric. Kind of keep within the lines of the genre. Pockets is right. Blood and Beans is about anything. But it is a horror channel, and I wanted to, talk about some horror things. Yes, the new Locust Lake book, ISB, is going to be huge. It is basically going to be the Locust Lake Bible.
Rock.
So.
Get 2 using those bookends.
I do too, because there's no pressure with Blood and Beans. My live readings, there's pressure. Got to keep the house quiet. Hope I don't break any dishes. Try not to mess up too much. And if I do, got to handle it gracefully. Blood and Beans is way more casual. And if it's if for some reason that Blood and Beans doesn't end up being the way I want it to be, if it's if it's not the Blood and Beans I hoped it was, or I just have a problem with that episode, I can delete it. Just take that episode and Blood and Beans down. It's not like a live reading or something like that. So, yeah. I like Blood and Beans too. It is the Seinfeld stream. It is the stream about nothing. And I know you're very excited for the book, ISB. I will tell you this as well. Doughboy wrote an extra exclusive. Not an exclusive, but he wrote another journal story that, again, further ties in the Cult of Locusts to the rest of the mainline stories. That journal entry, it's a journal entry, that journal entry will be released the week before the book comes out. So there is still one more story, one more Locust Lake story that I will be narrating, and it will be coming out next month. I've only done 2 hardcovers. Well, 1 so far. This will be my second. The Halloween book that came out this past October, that one comes in hardcover. I didn't go back and redo the other ones' manuscripts. If I do, I'm probably just going to re-edit the manuscripts, take out all the stuff I feel, needs to be fixed, like spelling errors and grammar errors. Add picture art to my other books, and then re-release them as second edition hardcover copies. So there'll be more content in them. They'll be much more clean, professional looking. And yeah. So if I did do the other ones hardcovers, they will be revised versions. And then there was Slaughter, and he knew that it was good. I like this. Yes, it's the gospel, man. The Locust Lake gospel. This book really will be an absolute monster. The original Locust Lake book, The Legends of Locust Lake, the physical copy, which is paperback, it's $24.99. It's a huge book. Don't get me wrong. Legends of Locust Lake is, I think it's like, I don't know, 80,000 words, 70,000. I'd have to go and check the word count on it. It's a monster. It's almost 200 pages at magazine size. So 8 by 11. 200 pages long. It's about as thick as, like, say, the Epic Mickey strategy guide. It's a very large book. There's no picture art or anything in it. That one costs $25, and that's mostly because I had to pay an artist for the book. I actually still have to pay her. I don't have a PayPal account. I can't get a PayPal, so I can't give her the money I owe her. But I still have the money that I owe her.
The money order, Western Union.
Can't. That's a discussion for later. Can't do that.
That sucks.
I have to pay we're splitting, things with Doughboy. I want to make sure Doughboy at least gets some kind of cut from all the work that he does, all the writing that he does, and this is the big one. This is what really jacked up the price, is the materials. The more paper that it is, the more paper printing, whatever that you do, obviously the book costs more. It costs more to print and costs more to make. Plus the weight of the book, you add shipping onto that. The first Locust Lake book is not cheap. And I get that. And if you want me to sign books, I'm happy to do it. When you get the book, just send me a message. I'll get you an address to send the book to. Send the book, I will sign it and send it back. If you want Doughboy to sign it too, I will send it to him, and then I'll have him send it back. So that's perfectly cool. We can work something out. Good morning, Fearsome, or good afternoon. I keep forgetting it's an afternoon. Good afternoon, Fearsome. How are you? Happy Sunday, and I hope you had a fantastic holiday. I probably could, but apparently this person's only way of able to receive money, for reasons I don't want to give out here, is PayPal. So it is what has created an issue with getting them paid. And we're not talking an exorbitant amount of money or anything, but it is something that I feel is the right thing to do. You put in the work, you get paid for the work, especially if there was an agreement. I actually owe Doughboy as well. I still have to send him out. He's got a little bit of money coming as well. That I actually have, and his address I have, and I can send it to him. So, yeah, man, that's not a problem. Yeah, and Dog Lover, that's not a problem. Very able to go ahead and sign books, get you back signed copies. I'm totally fine with that. Yup, you come up to the lake, PA. I will sign your books right there on the spot. Not a problem. In fact, it'll be a very humbling experience for me. It's not every day that somebody walks up to me with one of my books and is like, "Here, sign this for me, please." Like, sure. Watch me shrink into a puddle of humility. But yeah, the new Locust Lake book is going to be about twice the size of the original one. So the legacy of Locust Lake, like I said, it's about 110,000 words. So it's about... It is considerably more reading material than the original book. It's got 20 stories in it as opposed to 13. It's got picture art for every story. It's got the journal inside, which is going to have maps and sketches. And it's a much, much larger book. So in size, when it's done being printed, it will be about double the size of the Legends of Locust Lake. And if you get the hardcover, it's definitely going to add to the weight as well. I don't know how cheap I'll be able to keep this one. I am aiming for $30 to $35 for the paperback. But if that's what I'm aiming for, it means it's probably going to be about $45 to $50 for the hardcover. Which I know is a huge amount to pay for a freaking book. So that's why I wanted to make sure you guys actually got some really cool content with this. Sketch art for all of the stories and maps of the actual lake and pictures of the actual lake, and not just one exclusive. I wanted to get you guys at least 3 exclusives that actually hold meaning to the rest of the story. So I did try and do as much as I could for it. Went through the rest of the manuscript with a fine-tooth comb, reworded some things, some repeat words, some repeat phrases, and got everything, grammatically punctualized. Everything's good to go. So sketch art to be released soon. I do apologize for what I foresee the price will be. And again, I don't know yet, but what I think it could be. But I promise you will enjoy the book. I am really putting everything that I possibly can into it. Well, PA, that is dedication, man. I'm actually going to get the hardcover as my author copy.
Like a seal in my own house. I have to look for the cigarettes. There we go.
So, dedication, man. That is dedication.
It was a seek and find operation.
I imagine that, me traveling back and forth to work with that hardcover, I'm going to get a lot of looks from people like, ooh, what's that? Me slapping this giant bang book onto my desk. Oh, that's the book I'm working on. This one I did only write, out of the 20 stories, I wrote 4.5 of them. Yes, 4.5 of them. The Halloween story, which you guys heard this past Halloween, a Halloween at Locust Lake. I wrote, obviously, you guys know I wrote half of A Return to Locust Lake, the first story of the new series, and then I wrote the 3 exclusives for the journal. So I did write 4.5 stories for the new series out of the 20, but I did do all of the manuscript editing, and I'm doing the sketch art and stuff too. So I do have my hand in the book, for sure. Oh, I'm very excited for the book. ISB says hello. She is rolling her cigarette.
I just don't want to be. There you go. Good morning.
Well, it might happen, PA, but again, I know that I could do that. I know that I could just re-upload my manuscripts and say, here, just make them hardcover. I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that if I do that, and if I'm not even going out and asking people, hey, you rebuy this book. But I want to make sure that if somebody does go out and rebuy the book, that they're getting more than just a hardcover. That they're getting sketch art and some revisions. The hardest thing about being an author, the dedication. It's not really hard. It's not hard on me. It's hard on everybody else.
Yes.
The dedication is probably the hardest thing.
But I support him right there. I am right there behind him.
I break it down as small as I can to give myself as much free time as I can. But yeah, that is probably the hardest part of being an author is, the work that it takes to do it.
Well, it takes away from us a little bit. Yes. I'm having a Twizzler in my mouth. I'm sorry for that. But we understand. We accept it. And we're proud of what you're doing. So we're like, okay.
I know, and I appreciate that, but I'm just saying, I recognize...
Yeah, I bring you your dinner
that
at
it's
the
not...
computer because you're working on videos,
I appreciate
that
it. I don't take it for granted. I do recognize that it's not easy on everybody else. But I would say that's the hardest part, and that's probably only because I have yet to run into writer's block.
They actually said that it's hard to be a wife of a lawyer and a writer and a psychologist.
I can imagine it is.
And I can see why, but I also see that, I see all the work you put in, and for me to be jealous of that would just be selfish. And I don't understand people.
A matter of opinion. But yeah, I also have never hit writer's block. Not once. And I have a lot of people have always asked, how do you overcome writer's block? And I do have suggestions for that. And maybe that's why I never really have. Is because these are the methods that I've used.
200 movies on VHS.
But I've never run out of ideas for stories. I've got multiple documents with tons of story ideas written down. Not only to fall back on, but I have a novel that I'm actually working on. It's my first actual novel that I'm going to be producing. It's not Locust Lake, so it'll be the first novel that I've written myself. It will be at least 13 chapters long, so it will still fall in line with the rest of my books. It's called Buried Secrets, and that's, again, finding the time for that kind of stuff is a little bit challenging, but it's more or less the time. I have the ideas, and everything is written down. So that's 13 individual stories that I have completely blueprinted, that I have to write. Plus, I'm writing the Confronting Evil stories, so even I have to plan out the ones that I am writing, and the ones that I'm not, I have to make sure I know about them, and I understand them, so I can incorporate them into what I'm writing, and we, as both Doughboy and I move forward, we are working towards the same goal. So even when I'm not, the ones that I don't write, I'm still kind of involved in, even if I'm just taking that information and incorporating it into my next story because it needs to be there. And there's 10 of those every year. So I'm always writing for Confronting Evil, or always planning for Confronting Evil. And I have this novel that I'm working on. Plus I'm also writing a crossover with Beautiful Nightmare. Also just got done. There's a lot. There's a lot that I am working on, and then there's a lot of stories that I am supposed to write that I said I was going to write, like a Thomas the Train creepypasta story.
That was a good idea.
And I have it all outlined and written, and I even got the title, Shining Time Expiration, and it will happen eventually. It's just there are a lot of other projects that are also taking place before that, and then beyond that, I've got hundreds of story ideas. Just written down for random, for like, I have nothing to write next, what should I write? Well,
sometimes we'll watch like a movie that I'll put on, and it'll be good, up until the end. And then Sabian's like, okay, I got something else to write now. So, he's probably gonna rewrite a whole bunch of movies.
What it is we'll watch a movie, and I'll kind of, as we go along, I'm usually pretty good at predicting the ending and predicting what's going on. Sometimes I'll predict, wow, okay, so this is what they're doing, and this is what's going on. And then I'll think to myself, well, if this isn't what's actually happening, if this isn't the plot of the movie, then I've got an idea. Because this is a
Yeah.
great idea. And if they didn't hit this idea, if they didn't execute it, then guess what? I'm going to do it. I've got to thank you for giving me a fantastic idea. So, I actually do have The Simpsons. Is it this? No, I have another television show, horror lost episode story I would like to write eventually someday. But again, it's just there's a lot of other things that have just kind of jumped ahead. Confronting Evil, novel, the 13 Days of Halloween. A lot of stuff going on. So, I will be ending the stream in about 5 to 10 minutes. I just want to kind of throw that out there. So, if you guys do want to, throw in any questions, you have anything you want to talk about, feel free to go ahead and punch that into the chat.
How much is our mortgage? No, I'm kidding. That was a joke.
For those of you that did check out Confronting Evil last night, the new episode,
That came out so good.
let me know what you thought of it. I really enjoy writing for that show.
I think I have the hang of Jesse.
A novel is it's a long, cohesive story. Like, it's an anthology. Dog Lover is
It's like a textbook.
an anthology is individual stories that have nothing to really do with each other. So it's a book with story A, and then the next one is story B, and the next one is story C, but they're not like leading up to some grand ending at the end of the book. It's just anthology of different stories. A novel goes by chapters, which is, has a grand arc that runs through each one of these chapters. It's a book. So, a novel is one long cohesive story broken into sections. I think is the best way to explain it. I'm not like looking this up on Google or anything. An anthology is a set of unrelated stories, or sometimes they can even be related, and then that's kind of like an anthologic novel, where you have a set of stories that are seemingly unrelated, but then at the end, the last story shows that they're all related. So that's also kind of like a novel, but that's like using an anthology to get there.
That's the
My first book is actually an anthologic novel. It's 9 stories, From Anguish to Ashes, This Soul Is Yours to Take. It's 9 stories long, and all 8 stories, the first 8 stories are just stories. It's Krampus Claws, it's Tommy's Lunches, it's all stories that I have narrated on this channel. But the last story is called From Anguish to Ashes, and it pulls all the stories together to show you that it's not just a random anthology of stories. It all had purpose. So that's an anthologic novel. But the one I'm planning now is a novel. Like Pen Pal. Pen Pal is 6-part long story. Each are individual stories, but they're concurrent. They all have to do with each other. So Pen Pal is actually one long story with 6 different parts. That is very, very similar to how I am setting up my book. Hello. Don't worry about it, Fearsome. I've been wicked busy myself. But reach out anytime. Completely understand. There's been a lot of people busy this past holiday season. So don't worry about it. I do completely understand. And thank you for stopping in. It's nice seeing you, for sure. Oh, great. Sounds like a great birthday gift. When's I'm gonna have to, you don't have to say it in the chat, but you're gonna have to tell me when your birthday is. And happy early birthday. And I just realized, so that means that the Locust Lake book will be coming out around Valentine's Day. Hope you all love Locust Lake. We are all very well. The Pockets was right here near me.
I'm right here.
She still is, and Shiloh is sleeping. But I am now. I have now read it. Again, that's awesome, man. If you do read it or listen to it when you listen to it, I honestly do think that you'll enjoy it. It's one of those stories where I never tell people when they come into a video halfway through. When I never tell people, when you get a chance, you should go back and listen to this from the beginning. If you like it, you should, because you missed. It always seems rude, in a way. I hate doing that. Last night was the only night that I've done that so far. It did come out really, really, really well. If you like Supernatural, if you're listening to this stream and you don't know what confronting evil is, if you like Supernatural, if you know the Locust Lakes, this is the successor to Locust Lake. If you don't, highly recommend you go watch the Locust Lakes. That is always my first recommendation. The Locust Lake videos, stories, they're like the flagship series on my channel. After that, yeah, if you enjoyed those, you'll really enjoy Confronting Evil. If you like Supernatural, you'll really enjoy Confronting Evil. It's the successor to Locust Lake, and it's a tribute to Supernatural. So, I honestly think you'll enjoy it, and that's what we are talking about. Okay. The 18th. Of February or January? Because it won't be ready by January 18th. I will have a copy of it in my hand as an author proof for a final edit, hopefully by the 18th. That's the idea.
Take 2 months.
1 month. Just need a month.
I was joking.
Oh, no.
I'm holding it. It was supposed to be funny. I don't have the funny voice right now.
That's awesome, dude. I always love like when you're writing a story and it you can tell as it's coming together, like, yeah, this is really good. So that's awesome to hear. And yes, I do know that you that you very much like Supernatural.
I like it when the story writes itself. Like you start writing it and then it totally turns out to be something that you thought it was.
Well, that's the thing. Like,
that's what happens with me all the time.
The Confronting Evil series does basically write itself. The characters do what they want, and not only that, but the voice actors, they are making some canonical decisions for the characters. Namely, like Mary, making some canonical likes. Mackenzie wouldn't like this. Mackenzie likes this. Mackenzie doesn't like that. And by the way, I really like that the voice actors themselves get so into character that they feel the need to make canonical decisions about the characters' personalities. That to me just shows that I did a really good job casting. I know Somber does a fantastic job as Seth. He comes across exactly how, and he was actually going to it's not in it yet, but he was going to be my Castiel in the series.
No, his voice is too deep. He can't be angelic. He can be a demon.
But that would have been way too far late in the series because that's not something that's even planned at the moment. Somber has a fantastic mic. He's extremely reliable, and his voice just
it's great for
it captured he captured Seth perfectly. So that worked out really well. And Mary, same. Fantastic mic quality, is extremely dependable. And she's got that strong yet soft voice, like a Survivor girl, which is kind of what I wanted for Mackenzie. To be a little bit more on the badass side of things. But I still felt that inner Survivor girl needed to come through as well. And again, I just think that she pulls it off beautifully. And I like that the both of them are so into character that, they're planning on coming to the live stream this summer in between seasons and showing up on the show as guests. And they will be in character. They will be bantering back and forth like brother and sister.
The flannel will be real.
Yes, the flannel will be real. I mean, he does. He has a fantastic fantastic voice for narration.
That's what I just said.
That she was agreeing with you.
Oh.
The Jacob journal. Jacob never had a journal per se. Is there all journal stories? Are you talking like, are we going to do like a Jacob backstory journal story? I was thinking about that, but since we already did it with Stony Heart of the Black Woods, that's Jacob's backstory. I didn't really feel the need to work that one in. I wanted to make it more about the Cult of Locusts and Todd Jacobs and Amadeus Shaw and stuff like that. So basically, like, did Todd Jacobs ever meet Amadeus Shaw? How did Mr. Shaw become so evil and want to create the Cult of Locusts? How did the cult get their hands on the bones to put into the tattoo ink? These are the things and more. These things and more is what's in those exclusives. So it adds to the storyline of the second series mostly. So that's kind of where I tried to go with it. I do really, really, really think, though, you guys will really enjoy the book, whether it be physical copy or digital. And I will be keeping the digital copy cheap. So if you want the digital copy, it's going to be the same price as the first Locust Lake book. It will be $4.99. I'm not going to make the digital copy any more expensive. I just want to get the work out there. It's not about making money. I want to get the work out there. I want the content, the stories to be floating around everywhere, so that way people that, might enjoy them, people that miss good freaking horror, have a fighting chance of coming across them and enjoying these stories.
I'm gonna fix this for you.
So, all right, I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I want to thank you so very much for stopping in this morning. And it did make me laugh, actually. It made me smile pretty big, and I do know that you are. I hope you guys, thank you very much for stopping in today. I hope it was okay just listening to me, babble about my new book and the Confronting Evil series and what's coming up on the channel. And there's more. There's more that we didn't even touch on, like Soft Flesh Part 4, which is premiering this coming Saturday. Would talk more about it, but I am going to wrap up the stream. And plus, I could go on forever. There's so much stuff to do. So I want to thank you so much for stopping in today. Have a fantastic Sunday. Please be safe out there. Drink lots and lots of coffee if you drink coffee. I know I do. And I will see you hopefully this coming Saturday for Succulent Flesh, A Killer's Potluck. And this coming Sunday for Blood and Beans. Awesome, man. I'll be looking forward to the DM. I will see you all again very soon, and have a fantastic day. I love you all, truly and sincerely. Thank you for stopping in today. Have a great one. Bye-bye.